This is the Sheriff's Blotter, July 28th, 2016, Newberry Park. A 57-year-old man was booked into jail after battering and beating his wife in the 800 block of such and such. July 16th, a 52-year-old man was arrested for battering a person that he was in a relationship with in the 2400 block of such and such. Police arrested a 53-year-old woman for being under the influence of drugs in the 1200 block of such and such. A 31-year-old man received a citation after he was found carrying a concealed firearm in the 3100 block of such and such, and he didn't have a permit. July 17th, during an argument, a 47-year-old man in the 1500 block of such and such battered his wife and pushed his 10-year-old son. A 35-year-old man was booked for battering his wife on 400 block of such and such. After showing signs of being under the influence of drugs in the 500 block of such and such, a 21-year-old man was thrown in the slammer. No, it doesn't say that. It says 21-year-old man was taken to jail. But sometimes I like the phrase, throw him in the slammer. July 18th, a 35-year-old man was arrested in the 2700 block of such and such for a theft of a vehicle, grand theft, identity theft, attempting to pass a bad check, possession of burglary tools and being under the influence of drugs, and possession of drug paraphernalia. Police booked a 34-year-old man for committing grand theft in the 1500 block of such and such a road. July 19th, police received a call from the 1900 block of Newberry Road about a suspicious man sitting in his car. When they arrived, the 38-year-old man admitted that he had used heroin earlier, and he was arrested and hauled off to jail. Okay. Thousand Oaks, California. A 42-year-old man was arrested for driving under the influence of alcohol near the 23 freeway and James Road. Police picked up a 25-year-old man near such and such a road by the 101 freeway for driving under the influence of alcohol and suspended license. July 16th, after arriving to the scene of a traffic collision in the 900 block of such and such, police arrested a 41-year-old man for driving under the influence of alcohol and having a blood alcohol content of 0.08% or higher. July 17th, a 58-year-old man was issued a citation in the 100 block of such and such after he used profanity in his argument. What? A 53-year-old man was charged with domestic battery after being picked up by police in the 4100 block of such and such a place. July 18th, a 25-year-old woman was charged with battery and assault with a deadly weapon after throwing a glass bottle at someone's head in the 800 block of Avenida de la such and such. July 19th, police arrested three 23-year-old men from such and such after they stole a golf cart earlier in the day from the high school. One of the men was also charged with stealing a bicycle. A 46-year-old man resisted deputies during a domestic disturbance call in a 100 block of such and such. After being found too drunk to care for herself in the 1300 block of such and such, a 55-year-old woman was thrown in the slammer, was taken to jail. Yeah, it says a woman was taken to jail. And again, sometimes you like to use the phrase throw in the slammer, because it's kind of funny. Okay, July 20th. After a traffic collision near such and such a road and intersection, a 46-year-old man was arrested in the 200 block of such and such for driving under the influence of alcohol, having a suspended license, and no proof of auto insurance. A 45-year-old man was arrested for being under the influence of a controlled substance, possession of methamphetamine, and possession of drug accessories in the 1000 block of Avenida de la such and such. July 21st. After being arrested on an outstanding warrant, a 48-year-old man near such and such a road was given additional charges for possessing methamphetamine and having multiple pieces of drug paraphernalia on his person. A citation was issued to a 52-year-old woman in the 600 block of such and such a way after she was found to be under influence of a controlled substance. Police arrested a 50-year-old man after he sucker punched. What's a sucker punch? I'm not even going to say sucker punch, just that word makes me laugh. After he punched his girlfriend in the face. And oh my gosh. Who writes these things? So he also was in the possession of a billy club. What's a billy club? It's those with sticks, like those police sticks. This guy is crazy. A 28-year-old man was thrown in the slammer after being too drunk to care for himself in the 300 block of the Boulevard. It really says he was taken to jail, but I like to say sometimes I just throw him in the slammer. Okay, next, Westlake. A 59-year-old man was arrested for driving under the influence of alcohol after being stopped at a TUI checkpoint at an intersection of such and such. He was also charged with having blood alcohol content of 0.08% or July 18th, a 27-year-old man was arrested in the 100 block of such and such a street for identity theft because he was fraudulently acquiring gift cards. July 19th, a 21-year-old man was arrested on the 2700 block of such and such a road for being under the influence of drugs, for petty theft, for possession of burglary tools, and giving police officers false identification information. That's terrible. Sheriff's Blotter. A 59-year-old woman was arrested for refusing to leave a restaurant and resisting arrest in the 2000 block of such and such. A woman, age 22, was cited for battery in the 400 block of such and such a court. More than $950 in property was stolen from a home in the 1100 block of such and such. A go-kart was stolen in the 800 block of such and such a street. A wall was vandalized in the 600 block of such and such a street between July 5th and 6th. Merchandise was stolen from the Rite Aid pharmacy in the 2000 block of such and such. A 25-year-old man was arrested for shoplifting in the 2000 block of such and such. Cash was stolen from a purse inside a car in the 100 block of such and such. A man, age 20, was arrested for shoplifting in the 500 age 38, was arrested for petty theft and for being under the influence of a controlled substance in a 500 block of such and such. A 59-year-old man was arrested on 2 outstanding warrants in the first block of such and such a drive. A bicycle valued at $200 was stolen. Someone in a 3,000 block of such and such. About $70 in property was stolen. The 200 block of the boulevard. On July 11th, a bicycle was stolen in the 200 block of the boulevard. Vaughn's Pavilion Supermarket in the 5,000 block of the boulevard was vandalized with graffiti, causing more than $400 in damage. July 13th, an 18-year-old man was arrested on an outstanding warrant and for delaying a police officer in the 1500 block of such and such a street. July 14th, a man was battered, beaten, and robbed at the 800 block of such and such. That's terrible. Battered, beaten, and robbed. Between July 9th and July 15th, police arrested 5 people on suspicion of driving under the influence of a controlled substance and 9 people on various drug charges. Hey, do you guys like the sound of a spray bottle? Let me know if you guys like spray bottles, because I've been doing spray bottles on different surfaces, and it's really relaxing. It's like it sounds like a cool mist of water on your face. But so I've been experimenting with different surfaces. So let me know if you enjoy the sound of the spray bottle. Just the sound of it cools me off. It's like my face is like spraying cool mist on my face. Okay, so let me know if you like that. Did that one? Now, Sheriff's Blotter for Agora Hills. We're getting near Calabasas. I always like to read Calabasas because the Kardashians live there. Other rich people, movie stars live there. And they have bigger and better crimes there. Let's do Agora Hills first. Sheriff's Blotter. A vandal caused $200 in damage noises from the engine of a car parked on such and such a street. A burglar. Oh, here's a good one. Listen to this one. A burglar stole a $2,000 Louis Vuitton purse containing a $2,000 Bottega Veneta wallet and an $800 deck of antique Italian tarot cards from a parked car on such and such a place. Someone stole a $200 canvas bag containing paperwork and caused $300 in damage, shattering a window to get into a car parked on such and such a street. Let's see. Thieves stole $100 worth of soft drinks and caused $50 in damage to a vending machine at the 76 gas station on such and such a street. A thief stole a package containing $126 worth of clothing from the front of a home on Lake such and such drive. A vandal caused $300 in damage, shattering a window of a home on such and such a drive for July 8th. A thief stole $70 worth of heart medication from a mailbox on such and such a street. Okay, now Calabasas. Let's see what's happening in Calabasas. A burglar stole about $4,000 worth of items from a storage unit on the 2400 block of the boulevard. The incident occurred sometime between April and July. A thief stole an $800 laptop, computer, a $400 portable printer, and other electronic paraphernalia worth about $400 from a room at the Goodnight Inn Motel in the 27,000 block of such and such a road on July 12th. Someone stole a $100 cell phone, a $40 photo camera, and a California ID card from a car parked on the boulevard July 10th. A thief stole a $10 nylon bag containing $40 worth of medication from a vehicle parked on such and such a street on July 10th. Someone snatched a $50 briefcase containing checks from the inside of a car parked in the front of a home on such and such a street. A thief stole a $25 music player and a car registration from a vehicle on such and such a lane. A vandal caused $500 in damage to a mailbox on such and such a street. Someone stole more than this is probably like a movie star right there, or Kardashian. Listen to this. Someone stole more than $100,000 worth of jewelry, along with a passport and a birth certificate and a social security card from a home on such and such a street. The incident happened in March when the home was being restored. Terrible. Hidden Hills. A thief stole an $800 flute from a car parked on such and such a road. Westlake Village. Someone rummaged through a car parked on such and such a drive, July 13th, and stole business cards and coins. A thief stole a $200 briefcase containing paperwork from an unlocked vehicle parked on such and such a street. A thief took a $3,000 third row car seat and a $40 backpack containing clothing and a first aid kit from a vehicle parked near Costco in the 5700 block of Canyon, July 12th. What is a third row car seat? Is that like a little minivan? And aren't those heavy? How does somebody steal something like that? That's crazy. That is crazy. I don't know how someone could just walk off with that. But that's what I think it is. Someone tampered with a car parked on such and such on July 12th. The rear hatch was open and the owner said that the medical kit was found laying on the ground behind the vehicle. The culprit apparently returned a short time later, and this time he left a side door ajar after rummaging through the interior of the car, but nothing was reported stolen. Burglars stole a $1,900 pair of binoculars and $150 worth of other items from a home on such and such a street on July 12th. A car registration was stolen from a vehicle parked on such and such a drive. A burglar stole $3,400 laptop computer, a $600 loaded semi-automatic handgun, a $200 portable Wi-Fi connector, and $100 in cash from a car parked on such and such a street on July 10th. That's spooky. A semi-automatic handgun. Crazy. That is crazy. Violent attack. I guess. Who wrote this? We'll come back to this later. This is a violent attack story, but it's not part of the sheriff's blotter, but maybe we could do this later. If they have time to do it. And okay, sheriff's blotter. July 29th. A woman for the newspaper dated July 29th. July 12th. A woman, age 40, was arrested for possessing a switchblade knife near such and such a street. Less than $1,000 in merchandise was stolen from Home Depot and the 400 block of such and such. July 15th, property was stolen from a car in the 400 block of such and such. Less than $1,000 in property was stolen from a home in the 700 block of such and such. July 16th. A 69-year-old man was arrested on 2 outstanding warrants in the 2000 block of such and such. More than $1,000 in damage and property was stolen from a car in the first block of such and such. A woman, age 28, was cited for domestic battery in 2000 block of such and such. Someone attempted to steal a car in the 700 block of the boulevard. Several items were stolen from a locked garage on the 500 block of such and such an avenue. July 17th. About $600 in property was stolen from a truck in the 2000 block of such and such a street between July 17th and July 18th. About $2,200 in property was stolen from a car in the 4000 block of such and such. A man, age 66, was arrested on an outstanding warrant and for violating his probation on the 1600 block of such and such. About $600 in property was stolen from a home in the 100 block of such and such. A 24-year-old man was arrested for violating a restraining order in the 5000 block of such and such. About $1,000 in property was stolen from a garage in the 5000 block of such and such. Merchandise was stolen from Vaughn's Pavilion in the 5000 block of such and such. July 18th, nearly $1,300 in property was stolen from an unlocked car in the 1100 block of such and such between July 18th and July 19th. About $60 in property was stolen from an unlocked car in the 1300 block of such and such a street between July 18th and 19th. Property was stolen from a car in the 300 block of such and such a court between July 18th and 20th. About $300 in property was stolen from a car in the 4000 block of such and such. About $2,300 in merchandise was stolen from the Coach Inn in the 600 block of the boulevard. A man, age 25, was arrested on 3 outstanding warrants at Pleasant Valley and Las Posas. About $250 in property was stolen from a car in the 300 block of such and such a road. About $550 was stolen from a home in the 600 block of such and such a street, while the residents were at home asleep. Oh, terrible. Nearly $2,500 in property was stolen from a locker in the locker room in the 400 block of Let me start over. Nearly $2,500 in property was stolen from a locker in the locker room at the 400 block of such and such street. Property was stolen from a car at 1700 block of such and such. July 19th, a thief attempted to break into a mailbox in the 1300 block of such and such a street between July 19th and 20th. A 23-year-old man was arrested for battery and being under the influence of a controlled substance. 5000 block of such and such. A man, age 23, was was arrested on 6 outstanding warrants. The 400 block of such and such. Less than $1,000 in property was stolen from a building in the 1900 block of the Boulevard. Someone attempted to break into the home in the first block of such and such. A burglar entered a home in the 1100 block of such and such through the side door and stole several items between July 20th and July 21st. A 74-year-old man was cited and released for a hit and run in the 100 block of such and such. About $1,000 in merchandise was stolen from the car store in the 600 block of such and such. A man aged 39 was arrested on an outstanding warrant in the 1700 block of such and such. Between July 16th and July 22nd, police arrested 2 people on suspicion of driving under the influence of a controlled substance and 13 people on various drug charges. Terrible. Okay, so we have some time. Let's read about this violent attack. It doesn't have an author, so July 28th, 2016. Violent attack. A 23-year-old man was charged with trying to kill his former girlfriend with a machete. Isn't that crazy? Last week in the courthouse, says the Los Angeles District Attorney's Office. The incident occurred just before 7 a.m. on July 18th, when such and such, Travis such and such, allegedly entered the woman's home and attacked her while she was still in bed. The victim, whose identity has not been released, sustained multiple stab wounds to the face, neck, and body. She was taken to the hospital in very serious condition, but was stable. Travis such and such attacked and stabbed the woman with a large knife, but she was able to fight him off. As the man fled, other occupants in the home called the police for help, and as deputies searched the surrounding canyon area, the suspect reportedly returned to the scene of the crime, and he was found hiding behind a wall by one of the witnesses. The victim was stabilized by paramedics and transported to the hospital for further medical treatment. Travis, whose last known residence was in Sacramento, was arraigned at the Van Nuys courthouse. According to the criminal complaint, he was convicted last year for domestic violence attack on the same woman. Oh my goodness. Now he is charged with violating a domestic violence restraining order and was convicted of injuring the same person in 2015. District Attorney spokesperson said he was also had assault convictions in 2012 and 2013 in Sacramento. The new charges include attempted murder, first-degree burglary with a person in the home, and one misdemeanor count of violating a restraining order. The man faces possible life in prison and is being held at the such and such jail in Los Angeles on more than $1 million bail, and he's due back in court on August 1st. That's terrible. Oh my goodness. guys, have I told you this before? When the paper comes, I make a beeline for the sheriff's blotter every single time. That's crazy. Here's terrible. One dead in a car accident, and the driver, age 19, is arrested. A 30-year-old man died Sunday after the car he was riding in struck some trees nearby town. Zachary such and such was the passenger in a Porsche convertible driven by a 19-year-old of Mission Hill, and he was south when the car failed to make a turn and struck two trees. Oh my God. And passenger sustained major injuries, and he had to be extracted, taken to the hospital, and he later died. And the driver was also sent to the hospital for minor injuries. Upon his release, he was arrested by officers of vehicular manslaughter and driving under the influence of alcohol. And it says that excessive speed and alcohol were factors for the collision. They can't even determine at this time the speed of what he was traveling or how much he had to drink. And he remains in the county main jail with a $50,000 bail. That's terrible. Well, that was fun. That was a lot of fun. Let me know if you guys like the sound of spraying like cool fresh water on your bed. Doesn't that sound relaxing?